right, so welcome back to Multifamily Live. Super excited, very, very excited. We just had a fun conversation offline, ready to get into it online. Vinney Chopra on the show. Hey, Vinney, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jason.
Good.
How are you, brother? How are
I
you?
am doing awesome here. And so Vinny's out right with San Francisco, got the bright sun behind him, enjoying his day. And if you don't know Vinny, smile. As you can know, if you are watching us on YouTube, you will see why Smile is part of his name. Chopra is a real estate investor, syndicator, international best-selling author, host of Ford podcast, multifamily educator, mentor, dedicated husband over 40 years, and a father of two children, Neil and Monica. And he's residing in Danville, California, near San Francisco, as we've talked about for over 40 years. He's talked about all his trips back and forth to Nashville. He knows where I live better than I know where I live here. He's now built a portfolio of 4,500 units, over 440 million in real estate, senior assisted living, hospitality arenas. He's passionate about helping others, gives great financial advice. We're super excited to have him on the show today. So welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here. Hopefully I can bring some value to your audience. I'm very excited. Yes.
Well, we already know you will. And so the first question out of the gate is that you have just helped so many, done so many great things, right? So 4,500 units is quite a substantial number right there, but the energy you still bring to everything you do in terms of yourself, your core business, how do you set the right path forward for yourself so each and every day you're in the right process to just continue to do all these great things?
Thank you. Actually, I started with, just many of you might know, with just a duplex. I still own the duplex, of course, single family homes, and then 14 units for $180,000. That was my start about 14 years back. And now we are, with the grace of God, close to 6,500 doors and close to 650 million, something like that. And with the assisted living, we are even moving big strides because that's the silver tsunami going through the USA for the next 30 years. So very, very excited about developments, building it A++ communities. But you asked me like how I get motivated every day. It's just that passion. I'll be 70 this year. And I just feel like my heart is in the 40s stuck there. And my body probably is too, I don't know. But I do walk 2 to 3 miles a day and, take care of my body, soul and all. The key thing is the attitude, Jason. I find a lot of us seniors at 65 or 50, or when we are independently retired, we don't need to work a day in our life. I believe we need to stimulate our mind daily, keep some goals alive, some hobbies, some goals, and, make a good use of time. I think that's all it boils down to, helping, donating time, different things. In my case, I'm paying it forward by teaching new investors, the ropes and, so that they could really go farther than me. I'm just a small guy, who started.
Well, you think about it and when you're young, right? So I remember in my 20s, you think we're like running out of time, right? Then you get to your 30s, you start to figure it out. You're just so busy and you get to 40 and you start opening up to say like, man, I have all the time that I need here, but I have to make good choices with the time to use it effectively, right? And that's usually the dividing path between a lot, or some take their time seriously and say, I have this time given to me, it's a blessing, and now I can go out there and accomplish more, or oh man, I have so much to do, right? And there's too much on top of me, and you dread it, right? And that's usually where we get to a point where you see people who just aren't in the best frame of mind, but people like yourself and people that we're surrounding ourselves with see time as just the gift that's given to us, right? And then so each day, depending on no matter of age, you look at it as just a blessing of opportunity that's still in front of you to do things, to put together, that legacy. I was just talking about, my 3 kids behind us here, just how we're trying to give them guidance, right? To be able to make good decisions as they go through life, right? And you've done the same for your children, and so noting here with your doing, you're using your time and you're doing a lot in assisted living. Why such the divergence? I don't want to say divergence, but the path forward in that space.
Love to, Jason, expand on it. Actually, I'm just coming out of the shell in the last 2-3 years because everything is so overpriced. Let's look at it. I mean, the cap rates have gone down to 2.4, 2.5, 3.15. Everybody's overbidding in the multifamily space, in the C, B, A class. Even the compression of the cap rates has brought these classes together. I mean, a lot of people are wanting to buy B plus and so forth, but the cash flow is not there, guys. It's not there. I mean, that's the heart of the main thing. So in other words, I wanted to see what market which is going to sustain without any economy shifts, without any job market, things like that. And that's where the silver tsunami comes in. And I'm so passionate about it because I'm a senior myself. And there is a huge demand for housing, for assisted living and memory care in our country. And I partnered with a great friend of mine now, and he's been doing these projects for the last 10, 12, 11 years. And now we are building them from ground up in the barren land. We buy 5 to 7 acres. We go through ordinance changes. Then we build it in 9 to 10, 12 months. Then we lease them up, and then we sell them to ourselves or to REITs. So that's where it is. It's A++ luxury livings with courtyards, with the library and the movie theater, spas and salons, and cook to order dinings like a restaurant style, all those things.
What's the goal here? So in terms of your path forward with success, when you look at, and you're exactly right, the multifamily space is really squeezed right now, right? And it seems to be that we have to have a lot of perfect plans for things to work out or shape out, or you have to continue to be willing to take a little bit less than you were before, and a little bit less just to squeeze yourself into a deal. And that's not optimal for anybody. So, right. So a lot, we've seen that happen as you go into assisted living. For why ground up instead of in place with assisted living, and what do you find are your core parameters for putting yourself in the best case for success?
Sure, Jason. Essentially what we found was that the kind of luxury lifestyle we want to give at affordable price, we only charge $4,300 a month, which includes the unit and all the meals, all the ADLs, activities of daily living, all the supervision by the caregivers, prescriptions and everything. And then, all the facilities that we build for all included in the price, plus transportation, by the way, too. And the key thing is we need to start it ourselves because we can build them cheaper. A lot of people tell us we build them about 30% less cost than even the banks, the lenders are used to. And we have done it because we have just perfected the system, I guess. The other part is we are not in residential assisted living at all. So we are not into 8 units, 10, 12, 14, 16 units. We build about 90 units, 90 to 94, 6 units in, with courtyards, 5 to 7 acres of land. So a lot of people have reached us, can we renovate their older structures and all that? At this time we are not, because we have so many places that we are already vetting it, we should say. Then we buy the land, and we are going from the East Coast coming to the West Coast. So our goal is $2 billion with a B in construction and management of these assisted livings. And it's a strong demand for next 30 to 40 years. In USA, we'll have close to 100 million seniors, 100 million.
It's incredible, right? And you look at that, and you look at the parameters you're going forward, and it makes all the sense, right? You see the numbers, you see the population, you see the age, and it really does set it right. And 2 billion, I'm sure you'll surpass that quicker than you think, right? So I think even on goals, sometimes, and your person like yourself sets your goals too low, and you'll be well above that. So as you're looking at these opportunities here, when you say 90 to 94 units, are you doing this, and that's each unit per person, or are you doing multiple beds for the assisted living? And how important is your entry price on lands in terms of how you look at these?
Thank you. Sure, Jason. I would say definitely it's each unit for each family. When we say if husband and wife are there, then they could have 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. We do 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and suites. We call them like, smaller suites. And then we also put memory care in the same structure, so that we can really cater to their needs as they come into assistance, and if they go into dementia and memory care, we move them right over to that section of our building. So that's how we have done. And we only build 1 story We just don't like elevators at all. And we want the walkways and we want the garden for flowers, beds, and vegetables so that they can really kind of enjoy, even at 80 years of age, they can really enjoy 80, 90, even 100 years, to be outside and and we have the putting golf and the waterfalls functions and very nice spaces where they can move around. And of course inside there are libraries, there are meeting rooms, sunrooms, billiard rooms, I mean, you name it.
Jeez,
Grand
yeah.
pianos. It's a beautiful, we want the experience to be the best. Our motto is to spoil the generation that has spoiled us. So Hampton Manor is our brand. By the way, anybody listening to us, they could just kind of Google it. hamptonmanor.co is our website. And we are just trying to change the world a little bit at a time.
See, that's fantastic. And when you think about that, right, the evolution, right, and so many times, when you think about seniors, is that they get to a certain point and they have to downsize and they lose out on all their ability to have access to all the things that they live their life doing, right? And so when you get set a community that gives them that, still the sense of community, but still the sense of living to a point of standard that they've done their whole life. I mean, that's what people look for, and that's what makes a complex stand out, right? And so when you look at where you're putting these, is there a certain location, or like how are you sizing your markets when you look at these?
Excellent. Demographical shifts are happening, and we look at lots and lots of statistics where 65 and above people are migrating to. So people are coming from the northern side, the cold countries, into the Florida, Virginias, Texas, Missouri, all the way in the lower states. Yeah. And that's where we do capture rate studies, actually, because we spend so much money. You mentioned also about the land. Usually we could hopefully can buy land 4 to 7 acres, let's say, for about $1 million, million to 2 million. That's what we look for. And, we look for in the retirement communities where there are no jobs. Literally, I've been chasing jobs for the last 14 years, which I still buy multifamily, by the way, and I buy hotels also. I just sold a hotel. And then
I saw that. Congrats. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. That was just a beautiful situation. We bought it in auction from a Black Rock group, I think. And then after 2 years, we sold it for double the price. That was amazing.
Huge. Awesome.
Thank you. But, in the senior living, we do look for where the seniors are retiring. Like we built in Cape Coral, Florida. Beautiful retirement community. Then we built 17 miles north of there to the Punta Gorda area, or south of there, Punta Gorda area. So that's where then we are building in Palm Bay, Sebastian, Williamsburg, all over the place where the seniors will be moving to. So we do lots of very detailed studies because we buy the land ourselves. We do all the ordinance changes on our dime. My partner and I, we spend millions, but then we only raise money when we put shovel in the ground. Yeah. When everything is ready to go, and we build it in 9 to 10 months, and then we hire our own team. So we are vertically integrated totally. We hire our own staff, executive directors, everybody, and then we start leasing it up, so that by the time we open up our doors with certificate of occupancy, we want to be 50% occupied, 50.
Wow. And for people listening, they may think that 4,300 is a lot for living, but if you really look at it, right, that's not just your rent, that is you, your food, your experiences you're doing each and every month, the care that most don't factor into here, care that's also provided, that's going to be a piece of the puzzle, even if it's not, someone, 40s, 50s, and early, maybe even 60s isn't thinking about that piece yet, right? That all is factored in here. Right. And so when someone can look at it on that part, and does insurance use any bit of factor here?
Fully insured for our facility, but we do have private pay our residents, and we do the due diligence on their condition, of course, because we are not a rehab center. We are not really like a nursing home or anything like that.
The lifestyle.
We have no doctors. We have no doctors, medical equipments at all. It's only like one nurse and the caregivers,
Got it. That's incredible here. And you think about the evolution of how this goes forward, and you're right, it's exponential, right? And that's part of the point about being real estate investors, is that we have to continue to look at the opportunities that's going to best serve the market, right? Because we can put our foot down and say, I'm just multifamily and that's all I will do, right? And then, okay, that can work, but you're going to have to constantly change your parameters, constantly change what you're looking for, constantly change your metric, constantly maybe change your thresholds, right? Things that maybe just to stay continually busy in your project, or you have to look for other opportunities that are going to serve the needs of the market, right? And so right now you're serving the market, right? And so
thank you so much. Thank you,
incredible.
Jason. You hit the nail on the head. I've been kind of reinventing a little bit in this market, because the thing is, I've been doing multifamily syndications all this time, 36 offerings I've done, but this one is like a fund. So I'm doing a 506C fund, $50 million fund. I've raised money like this. We have 430 investors, who have been giving money after money after money, return the money, bring it again, all that. Yeah, and awesome. The key thing in the fund is diversification, because our investors are accredited investors and they want to diversify their, money. So we buy multifamily with value add. I just bought one last year, because there's just so much competition out there, right? Yeah. The other thing is, we are building assisted senior living from ground up. And once we stabilize in 2.5, 3 years, we give the money back to our investors and buy it on this side to keep it for 7 years. Wow. So now we have a multifamily, which we built it, and it's A++. We know what went into it. Everything is brand new, no different maintenance. And in the senior living, zero delinquency and zero concessions. Mm-hmm. So those are the 3 pegs which really kill the deal. I mean, many times, right? You got to renovate appliances, doors, the roof, you name it, right? And then you have such a big staff to do work orders and everything in a regular asset. But in our senior living, because we just built it, we got a tremendous opportunity to cut down the costs. So that's why senior assisted living multifamily performs much higher value threshold. So at 52 to 54%, we break even. What? Oh. In real multifamily, it's 76%. Mm-hmm. 76. Yeah. So there is a big threshold of 20%, So that's something that I'm understanding a little bit more, and my investors are loving it. And many of my investors are coming with $1 million minimum now. What?
Love it. I love it. And because you look at opportunities sometimes, and sometimes we miss the point of having our use and need to do something to get that opportunity, right? And the cost that will have, right? So you look at that 76%, but you think about the collections, working through all the collections, working through all, assistant payment, or all the renovations that are going to come up that you can't see behind the walls, or the other pieces that come up, right? Compared to having a brand new in-place asset that you built, right? That goes out there. Sure. Yes, it's a pricier component here, but when you stop thinking about the price alone and start looking at the opportunity and reward based on what's there, it really does set the parameter of why you're doing it, right? So it's just amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Jason. And cap rate of 6.5 for a A++ building is unheard of, right? Yeah. Totally unheard of. And that's what we are building. We are building them for 16, 17 million, and they're worth 27 million in about 3 years,
Vinney, man, I can't believe we haven't been able to do this before, but I'm so happy to do it today. So thank you for coming on the show. I love watching you, because the energy, it serves the purpose about enjoying life, about doing everything, and what we look to continue to do as we do it, right? Because that sets up what we want to do, who we want to be, how we want to represent ourselves, and how we want to help people. So just thank you for what you've done out there. Thank you for the energy you do. Thank you for what you've brought out there. And again, thank you for coming on the show. And again,
Jason, I appreciate you. Congratulations on your great podcast and your audience. If anybody wants to reach me, it's pretty easy. It is, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
my VP of accounting is calling. No, actually, again, VinneyChopra.com is my website, and you could just kind of feel me. And if you like to invest with us or even partner and things like that, and my podcasts are there. My books are on Amazon also. Yeah.
And remember, Vinney has an E in there, Vinney. Just
Yes.
make sure when you search him out there, you'll find him quickly and you'll see all the fun stuff he's doing. So Vinney, thank you again for coming on the show. Really super appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. God bless.
And for everyone listening, make sure you go out there and find Vinney. He's just so fun to watch everything he's doing. And if got value today, please hit that like button, go out there, give us a follow. It helps us get out to more audiences that we can help with just this fantastic content. Talk to you shortly.
Bye-bye.